A lot of folks are asking where I source my chemicals, where I buy my seed, where I buy fertilizer. Just curious where I source everything, so I'm about to show you. I do it through two different avenues. Online, I purchase from Keystone Pest Solutions online. Sometimes their chemical prices are better than other places, but today we're sourcing our chemicals from somewhere else here local in Lee County, Crop Production Services. Mr. Seth Holt down here, gonna pay him a visit. Years past, I bought my fertilizer from Country Farm and Home in Pittsboro. I like to support local businesses where I can. I just don't have time to go up to Pittsboro this year as well as come down here. So I am buying my fertilizer here in Crop Production Services. Right on the dock waiting for me. That's customer service right there. That's the customer service you used to have. Make one phone call, on the dock, ready to roll. Howdy, howdy. I'll pay for that little order out there sitting on the dock. Got our 2.5 gallons of Prowl, Spartan, and Dual Magnum 2. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I did not go with the Me Too Lachlor. Went a little bit different this time. Let's get loaded up. Nothing to it, 7 bags of fertilizer, got some product, we're ready to roll. Ouch. Now that's enough product for at least 3, if not 4 years if I store it correctly. So don't let the product price discourage you too much. That's enough chemical for at least 3 years. But that fertilizer is just for this year, for the sunflower field and the corn field. But we're already in it for $520. Plus the glyphosate from the original burn down. We're already in it for $600 this year, and we haven't even bought seed yet. I'll extend my apologies for calling it Crop Production Services. I'm a little old school. I think Nutrien bought out Crop Production Services. I was not aware of that, hadn't really followed that very closely, but it's all the same, local good guys. If you're in Harnett, Lee, even Chatham, any of the surrounding counties, make the run down to Sanford. There's some really good folks in there, great customer service. They'll get you hooked up. So you saw me loading up the Dual Magnum here, and you might be wondering, what's going on? You've been talking all about Me Too Lachlor. Well, this is the same active ingredient, S-metolachlor, but after talking to the guys down there at Nutrien, this particular formulation of the S-metolachlor does a little better in their experience. And this one actually is labeled for sunflowers, whereas the Me Too Lachlor is not. So we're switching it up this year, gonna give it a try, but ultimately it's the same active ingredient, the same application rate. And you know, this year we're mixing in the Prowl H2O, which is pendimethalum. That's gonna be our yellow category grass control pre-emergent. We have not used this in the past. We've only used the Spartan Charge and the metolachlor historically, but this year we're throwing all 3 at it, really trying to get some nice grass and weed control. One of the guys in the comments was saying that he used Authority Elite herbicide, which is actually a mixture of the sulfentrazone and S-metolachlor that are in the metolachlor and the Spartan Charge. I had never heard of this product, so I had to look it up. It's sulfentrazone and S-metolachlor mixed. So one of the ingredients in Spartan Charge is sulfentrazone, so it's a combination of this guy and this guy, but there's no carfentrazone. So it's not quite as broad spectrum, but it's probably still going to do a pretty good job. The reason I personally would not use that is I want to use these same products in the cornfield so I can pull out the sulfentrazone, carfentrazone of the Spartan Charge, and I can still put out my metolachlor in my cornfield. So I wouldn't want to spend the money on one product that I couldn't use on both the corn and the sunflowers. But if you're just planting a sunflower field, that Authority Elite sounds pretty good. Next stop, we'll be off to pick up the seed. We'll hop in the truck. Let's head that way. All right, that sounds great. Be on the pallet in the back. Awesome, I'll let them know. Yes, sir, you too. Yeah, take care. Mr. Matt Peterson's Wildlife Management. He's got a pallet of seed ready for me. The second time I bought sunflowers from him. I bought all the sunflowers from him last year at the Dixie Deer Classic. on sale with a show special price. So that worked out really good. Didn't make it to Dixie Deer Classic this year, but he's still getting me a good price on them. Pulling into a graveyard here to pick up our seed. Hope that's not a bad omen. 10 pounds of Clearfield hybrid sunflowers. We'll talk more about these later. We are loaded up. Sunflowers, brown top millet, and we are ready to plant. Got fertilizer, chemicals, seed. Let's roll. Let's talk about these sunflowers for a minute. This year we're going with Eagle brand again. Last year we planted the Eagle brand and had a lot of success. The year prior to that we did Dynagrow, but we're going back to Eagle brand this year. This is a 10-pound bag. They do sell them in 10-pound bags. Nutrien sells 10-pound bags. Seed Ranch online, Hancock Seeds, certainly Peterson's Wildlife. You can source these smaller bags. I think it's 10, 25, and 50 they come in. And we're planting a Clearfield hybrid sunflower. This is a size 3 seed. So if you're drilling, make note of that. Make sure you got the right seed plate. But we are broadcast spreading again this year, going with the Eagle brand Clearfield sunflower. If you've been following along, you know I'm switching things up a little bit. Instead of planting 2 fields of sunflowers, we're doing 1 field of sunflowers and trying something new in the other field. That's dwarf Roundup Ready field corn. I sourced the corn online at 2 different places. So I want to try 2 different ones side by side to see if there was any difference. This bag is from Seed Ranch. Seed Ranch is a great place to buy your seeds online. This is a Roundup Ready dwarf field corn, 5 pounds of it. This I bought from Hancock Seed Company, where I also buy a lot of my online seeds. Dwarf Roundup Ready field corn, glyphosate tolerant. One interesting note is I've been doing some germination testing on both of these corns, and both of them at my at-home test, I was only able to get about 50% germination, which I found interesting. The one test was done in a fishbowl greenhouse type environment in the house. The other test was done outside in a mulch bed in a very manicured environment. In both cases, I only got about 50% germination, which I found interesting. Because I'm broadcast spreading instead of drilling, and because of my home germination test, I'm gonna end up putting 15 pounds on that ½ acre. The overseeding rate says 15 to 20 pounds per acre, and because our field is only ½ an acre, it would only be recommended to plant 10 pounds. But because our lack of germination in my little home test, I'm gonna go ahead and plant 15 pounds to make sure we have an adequate seed coverage on the field. That's where I source my products. Locally, Country Farm and Home when I can, local Nutrien ag agents, online if necessary, Triangle Pond Management in Raleigh, wherever is convenient for me at the time. I prefer local people, local small businesses. If I have to go to the internet for small batch stuff, I'll do that as well. That's it for this video. We'll catch you on the next one. We're putting seed in the ground. We'll catch you then.